Hello, this is Adam Gibson from Learn3dsoftware.com, and I'd like to welcome you today on our course on how to publish a children's book on Amazon and Kindle for free using 3D and 2D software. Some of you know me as that crazy 3D tutorial guy. I've made hundreds of different tutorials on 3D software, Lightwave, 3D Code, Substance Painter, ZBrush, UV Layout, DAZ Studio, made some tutorials on Photoshop, and a whole bunch more. Now, those of you who've known me over the years in the 3D circles, you might not know that I'm also a book author. So I started making my own content and publishing and doing that kind of thing probably starting like back in the mid to late 90s. Okay, so this course is how to use your skills, your skill sets, so that you can actually get into publishing books. The world of book publishing has changed. Traditional book publishing is kind of becoming the way of the past. But at the same time, you can use self-publishing and print on demand to also position yourself to get in line for some of these bigger companies that may offer you some extra ways to distribute your book, especially if you have a book that becomes popular and that type of thing. But most of us, we're just trying to get published, period, get our stuff out there, get everybody to see things. I've done both types of book publishing. I've gone through the big book publishers, and I've also self-published books. Okay, and recently I've also published on Amazon through their system, and it is amazing, and they're very professional, very, very fast, and you're able to control your content, which is not something you can do very easily through traditional book publishing companies. And traditional book publishing companies are very, very slow. The first two books I published, it took 4 years from the time the manuscript was accepted to the point where it was actually out in the bookstores and available online for purchase. Now keep in mind, this was going back over 20 years ago. They did have print-on-demand companies as far, like way back in the early 2000s and probably even in the 90s as well. But the problem is that you had to actually pay the book company usually thousands of dollars to actually get it published. You maintain control of your content, but you still had to come up with a lot of money up front. Those of you who purchased this course, I've designed it so that you guys do not have to spend tons and tons of money, and I have actually put oodles and oodles of free software that can be used on most computers for free. Okay, and I've made a bunch of PDF files that you can easily click on the link in the PDF, click on the name of the free software, and you can download it to your computer and you can use it for free forever. And some of these pieces of software have free updates and that type of thing. So I'll get more into that in a bit. But like I said, traditional book publishing companies are very hard to deal with and time consuming if you're in a hurry. If you don't mind waiting months and months or years, which typically happens, not all the time, but it typically happens. Like I said, if you want to get something out there and you want to get moving on your projects and you want to get your artwork and your stories and your characters and all that stuff seen in front of the world in a short amount of time, this is the way it's done. Or this is a way it can be done very, very quickly. So I'm going to show you right now some of the books that I've actually published in the past. I'm going to stand up here, okay, and I taught martial arts for many years, so it was sort of a passion of mine. So what I did was I made martial arts books. And this was the first one that I made, and it was very, 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 very detailed. Now, once again, part of the problem with traditional book publishing, not just the amount of time it takes, but sometimes you're dealing with editors and everybody's trying to control the content, and sometimes it isn't just one editor. You're dealing with multiple editors. You're dealing with the owner of the company. And not that I have an issue or anything with any of these companies. It's just that's the way traditional book publishing works. The traditional book publishing companies originally were using the old plate system, where every page of the book would actually have a plate and it would be stamped. And so they had all sorts of restrictions and issues with, the amount of ink, the amount of pictures, how many pages. It's going to cost us X amount of money to print all these different copies of the book. If they're going to start off with 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 copies, they have to come up with all this money up front. Sometimes they pay for even professional photographers to come in and do the photography as well. So there's all sorts of issues that go along with traditional book publishing. So like I said, you kind of lose control of some of your content, and you kind of have to meet them in between, and hopefully things come out the way you want. But like I said, with print on demand and self-publishing through Amazon, you don't have those problems. Print on demand, if one copy of your book sells, they print off one copy and mail it out to the customer. Okay? And if you're making ebooks, it doesn't cost them anything. So they just download a copy of your book and they look at it on their tablet or their phone or computer and that type of thing. So pretty cool stuff. So like I said, pretty extensive. And now these two books were done through traditional book publishing companies, and they're actually pretty lengthy. There's quite a few pages in them. You are not limited to just a few pages with Amazon. You can make the exact same types of professionally bound paperback books as professional book publishing companies. Now, this was a shorter book that I wrote that was through a self-publishing company. And once again, a lot of these self-publishing companies, there's like a fee that you have to pay. Now, if you notice, the pictures in all these books are black and white. And there's a reason for that, because traditional book publishing costs money to print in color, extra in color. Not that it doesn't through Amazon, but it doesn't cost you anything and it doesn't cost Amazon anything. Basically, through Amazon, you are making the customer pay for it. So if you have a book that is in full color, basically the price winds up going up if it's in color. If you're making a children's book, yeah, you're going to want to make that in color. So because all my martial arts books were all in black and white, kind of boring, and it's harder to see what's going on, making out sometimes the background and the uniforms, because it's grayscale. Sometimes they kind of mix, and our eyes are used to seeing things in color, and that's actually part of our learning process. And sometimes people don't realize that, but being able to see in color really helps us with depth information. In martial arts training, it's very important that you can actually see the depth and the distance and being able to visually see things in 3D. So what I did was, because I own the actual rights to the self-published book, even though, like I said, it's through an actual publisher, because I actually own the rights to it, I decided to republish the book as a second edition through Amazon. So the journey that I took through Amazon was very streamlined as far as once I understood the process. And now that is the tricky part. You have to understand all the book publishing lingo. And this is what I'm going to teach you how to do so your book doesn't get rejected. I republished this book here as a second edition in full color inside of a weekend. I started converting my old PDF files that I gave to these guys, this first self-publishing company, back in I think 2001 or 2002, and I had to convert them and make them so that they work with the Amazon publishing system and Kindle as well, because you have to convert your files over to work with the Kindle software for if you want to have paperback and ebook formats to sell. So I started converting my old manuscript on Friday, went through the whole process. By Monday morning, early Monday morning, once I fixed a bunch of errors that were coming back, and I'll get into that later, how to fix that. I had the thing published, both ebook and paperback, on Monday. And then, once again, you can buy copies of your own book to sell, or just proof copies. So in the mail, you can see here, got the Amazon stripe here. I'm going to pull this out for you kids at home. Okay, so this is the new version, and you can see here, it says now in full color, second edition. So it's the same book. What I noticed immediately when I first pulled it out of the package was that the colors on the cover were even better with the Amazon than it was through the other self-publishing company. And like I said, I mean, I had to pay for this copy, but it was free to get it published. I didn't have to pay thousands of dollars to get this done. I just had to learn how to do the process. So anyways, if we can take a peek inside, and you can see now my book is now in full color, which is a lot nicer to look at. And the paper quality is amazing. It's actually, even though it's the same amount of pages, this book is actually thicker because the paper quality is thicker and you're printing in color. Okay, so you're allowed to do things like put your own website on the back, and Amazon can give you a free barcode or an ISBN number if you don't want to pay for your own. When you go through traditional self-publishing book companies, if you pay all the money, but you're actually paying for that. You're paying for that actual barcode, and they do all the setting up in the computer. You just send them basic files, and they piece everything together. So, I mean, I made the cover and the the front and back and all the interior and everything, but they still had to do a whole bunch of setup stuff and get everything put online. Once again, through Amazon, everything is free. Now the thing is, if you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, this is an awesome course for you. It doesn't mean that you can't hire someone to help you, okay, and that type of thing. And I'm probably at some point going to be offering services for people that are needing help with their book being published, but that's another topic right now. But anyways, like I said, if you follow this course, you're going to be able to publish your own books without having to spend a whole bunch of money. Okay, once again, it's free. They didn't charge me anything to upload it. They didn't charge me anything to put it on their website. And the beautiful part of it, because it goes right in the Amazon store, and it goes with all the regular book authors. There's no, oh, well, you have to reach a certain level before we put you here or put you there. Nope. You go right into the Amazon system and the Amazon store and the Kindle store. And remember, Amazon and Kindle are powerhouses. Everybody buys everything on Amazon. You can buy any item on earth through Amazon. So, like I said, it's a great place to market your books and your ebooks. So, currently right now they don't have hardcover, but still, just like I said, I wanted you to see, like I said, the quality of the book and the paper and the binding method. Everything is just great. Okay, so you don't have anything to worry about going through Amazon. So like I said, the point of this course is to take all the headache out of having to search for all this information on your own. And if you don't have all the right pieces of software and you can't afford the pieces of software, like I said, this course is going to give you everything that you need so that you can publish your own books. The only thing that you need is a computer, access to the internet, and obviously, your own imagination to design your own books. Now, I'm going to let you in on another thing, is that this course isn't just about publishing kids' books. As you can see here, I've published martial arts books, which are basically how-to books. Okay? So with that being said, you can publish any type of book on Amazon. If you go into the book section on Amazon, you will see books on everything. You'll see everything from science, romance, science fiction, horror novels, children's books, martial arts books, sports books, hockey books, you name it, they have it. Coloring books. Anything that your imagination can allow, they pretty much sell it on Amazon. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and when we come back, we are going to get started showing you how to start publishing your book through the Amazon system. We'll be back in a moment.